Inky Johnson said that champions are made on the other side of I don't feel like it. And I heard that just the other day and it hit me here, here, and here. So I am getting ready. I am 30 hours away from hosting my first solo event in terms of an event that is driven by me, that is coming from my experiences and is me showing up to invite people to come and sit in culture and in ceremony with me, to connect with the empowered warrior heart, to connect with something that I feel called to share with the world, something that I've had to become in my own life. And our first event is the 11th of January, and then our next event will be the 1st of February. And I felt really called and compelled to bring this into the world because I see so many women, so many people who have been through trauma or adversity or mental health, First Nations people, our youth, our babies questioning themselves, going, how they don't even know who they are, or they don't feel like who they are in their hearts and their truth. If they do know who they are, or they have the courage to go there, they don't feel like they can be that in the world, that it's not safe to be themselves in the world, or that that's not good enough, or that they're not worthy, or that they won't belong in the world or in their worlds if they start to speak their truth, if they start to be their truth, if they start to stand in their power and they start to follow their hearts. And yet I know that when we connect to our heart, we bypass trauma and we bypass our ego, because our hearts only speak truth. And there's so many people who say, just be yourself in the world. Just be authentic. And I know that in order for the people that I'm meant to serve to find me, I need to be myself in the world so that they can find me. But how am I supposed to be myself out there when I can barely be myself in here and be true to myself, be real with myself? These are the questions I ask because this is the experience that I've gone through, and I've gone through different iterations of this, different versions of this my whole life. When I've come to a crossroads or a meeting point where who I was and who I currently am is no longer going to be the woman or the self that can carry me forward. And at some seasons that transition has been smooth and aligned and it's been released and it's been like a birthing process. And other times it's been a battle. It's been a war where there's been resistance from who I am now to go, well, I don't want to change. I don't want to let go of who I was or where I am in order to go where I'm called to go next. And my whole life I've had messages that you're not enough or you're too much. And I've had experiences that have confirmed those messages, that if I really speak my heart, if I really speak my truth, and if I really move from my heart and I let that show, that I won't belong, that I won't be accepted. I'll be told I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not allowed. And on the other end of it, it's not safe. That will be weaponized against me, or I will be shut down. I will be attacked for my truth, for my power, for my heart. So I had to become the Barkindji warrior just to be able to write my own story, to write the story that my ancestors called for me, to be culturally grounded, ancestrally guided, and dreaming led. So I know the warrior heart is needed in the world because people come to me all the time and they're like, Chantel, how do you do what you do? How do you speak your truth into the world? How do you just speak from your heart? How do you just be you? How have you gone from the experiences that you've had, going from suicide to world champion? How have you gone from the adversity and the trauma that you faced to be this person in the world and to have done the things that you've done? And I see so many people with so much power and potential, and they either don't see it within themselves, they don't see that power and that potential within themselves, and don't believe that they have power and potential. They don't believe that they're worthy, they don't believe that they're good enough, or that they're not allowed to be powerful, to be worthy, to be that version of themselves that comes from the heart. So I am here, one person at a time, to activate to create spaces and ceremony grounded in First Nations culture and women's business, our knowledge, our principles and our practice, to awaken our dreaming, to awaken us to our own power and our potential, and to our responsibility to step into our power and our potential, because we can best serve those that we love. We can best serve the world when we are grounded in who we are, when we are guided by something bigger than ourselves, and we have a belief and a trust in ourselves that we have a purpose and a meaning bigger than ourselves. But in order for that meaning and that purpose to be able to be possible, it needs to be grounded in our own knowing, in our own self-worth, and in our own power and our own truth. And yet there will be work to be done. There will be battles that need to be fought in our minds, in our heart, in our bodies, our own trauma, our own internal work, let alone the work of setting up our world to go, this is who I am, and I'm going to show you how to treat me. This is why the warrior heart is being born into the world. This is what the experience is going to be. It's going to be grounded in the way of the warrior, the way of the samurai, the way of First Nations women's business, in collective ceremony, grounding yourself in purpose, in deep listening, in healing, being able to hear yourself and going, who am I really? What does power look like for me? What do I aspire for it to mean for me? And also doing a bit of the shadow work as well. What is the opposite side of that? Where has power been weaponized against me? Where have I used power against myself? So it's the internal and external. Where has my truth been taken from me, or where have I hid my truth from myself? And where has my heart been broken by those that I love in life? And where have I broken my own heart because I've broken my own trust and my own commitments, my own promise, my own self-respect to myself? And what does my heart call for now? What is my truth? If I have the courage and I have the space to really sit with myself, what is my truth? What is my heart calling for me? Where is my heart pulling me? So this is what we'll be sharing and going through in the Empowered Warrior Heart session. This is what it's all going to be about. This is what I'm going to be speaking about, teaching. And this is what I'm living. This is what I am. This is it's a movement. It's a principle. It's a practice. It's a philosophy. It's a way of being in the world, within yourself first, so that when you show up to the world, you can be grounded in who you are. You can be guided by a power higher than yourself and a purpose bigger than yourself. And you can be led by your dreaming purpose, by your heart. So I hope that you will join me, because you know what, this morning, my nervous system wasn't ready for this, because change happens on all levels. Most people think they only need to change their mindset and how they feel, and they'll be able to get more motivated, more clear. But it's also body work. It's also how we feel about ourselves sits in our body. Our truth resides here. And there's going to be work that needs to be done, but you don't have to do it alone. It is time to come together in a collective, in a community of people who are already being the warrior heart, so you can see how it's done and you can be guided to do it for yourself. And you can share your knowledge and your experiences with others. Or you can start to walk your own journey and go, what does power look like for me in this season? What is my truth? And where is my heart calling for me to go? And being the warrior isn't about fighting. It is about finding the courage and the strength, the discipline, and taking the responsibility to do the work to become who you need to be, to set yourself free, so that you can then show up in the world and live from your truth and live from who you were always called to be. Big love you, mob. I am so ready. I'm so excited for the first Empowered Warrior Heart event happening on the 11th of January and the 1st of February. Will you join me? The ways that you can work with me are, you can buy a ticket, you can gift a ticket to someone else, and you can share this with your community or your workplace or someone you know who needs it. If you want to know more information, reach out to me. This is a movement. This is just the first event. This is what you'll be seeing unfolding all throughout 2025. Big love you, mob. Chantel Thompson, the Barkindji Warrior, Warrior Heart.